Welcome to the Handsum Gambler podcast. One goal, clean sweep, going 5 for 5 every UFC card. I am your host, the Handsum Gambler. Right off the bat, we're going to jump into a recap of UFC Baku, Azerbaijan. I want to start off by saying I think that Dana White went ahead and incentivized these early fights for the grapplers not to grapple. I feel like he left a bonus for them not to grapple because with it being the first time in Azerbaijan, they wanted to start the card with a bang, one. And some of these fights, there was going to be some grappling later on the card. So I really feel like Dana White incentivized some of these openers to not grapple. It's neither here nor there. That's why they call it gambling. I'm going to jump into the recap. I had Hamdi Abdul-Wahed over Mohammed the Motor Usman. I really feel like Hamdi was robbed. He definitely won the first round. Mohammed's body language looked bad all night long. It was like he couldn't keep his footing. Now, he wasn't getting dropped, but he was just like, he seemed unstable. But to kind of compliment Mohammed winning this fight, Hamdi did not wrestle, which I was shocked by. You have Olympic caliber Greco-Roman wrestling, and then you refuse to wrestle. You don't even try a takedown. One of the reasons I really feel like there was some bonus for not grappling in the beginning of the card. Neither here nor there. That was the first loss that I took on the night. Next, I had Arina Alexieva over Claudia Segula. Once again, Alexieva did not use any of her judo. She sat there and she had a 15-minute striking bout with a striker who was better than her. Claudia looked like a world beater. She bashed that girl's face in. Her nose was all over her face. It was just not a good look. I cannot believe that girl did not attempt to grapple or use any of that judo. It was just something strange was going on, but that was the second loss on the night. Third, I had I had Melissa Mullins over Zlesniakova. Now, this was kind of a weird fight as I seen the way that the card started, and based off that, I started to believe that Mullins would not get the takedown in there with Zlesniakova. So I placed a hedge bet, and I luckily hit it. It kind of saved my ass a little bit on this card, just because of the way the card was working out. It was the only reason I did it. And it actually hit. So my pick was initially Melissa Mullins, but I hedged bet once I seen how the card was playing out. It's something you guys gotta do if you're a capper. If there's a hedge out there and you can get some plus money odds, go ahead and hedge it out to save your ass from losing all night. Luckily, I did it on this fight. The fight ended up being a stand-up war that Zlesniakova did get the better of Melissa Mullins. I initially had Melissa Mullins. So I did lose pick-wise, but I did hedge that bet out to save my ass. So it didn't hurt as much as it should have. Moving to the next fight, I had Curtis Blades over Kuniev. Curtis Blades won, but he's declining fast. He was really busted up at the end of that fight. And Kuniev, I believe, is the one that got the stock that went up from what he did. He looked like a world-class striker. He busted Curtis Blades up. Curtis Blades also was talking about at the end of the fight that his MCL popped during the fight. And that's why he was grappling so much. Curtis is declining very fast, and if he does get the matchup that he requested, Cyril Gane, at the end of the year, I'm fading him. I think Cyril Gane not only wins, but he sparks him inside of the first 2 rounds. You guess you can mark me down for saying that now. So Cyril Gane will spark him in 2 rounds. That takedown defense is going to hold up, and he's going to end up sparking Curtis Blades because he's declining, and he's declining fast. So every L last weekend was just data. And this week I've used that data to tighten everything up. The process is tight. I'm not panicking. I'm not guessing. These are just calculated plays this week to bring me back on to a winning week. I'm jumping straight into the card. This is going to be UFC 317. Boom. Topuria Oliveira. Jonata Denise, I'm taking him over, was it Elvin Hines? Jonata Denise beat a much better wrestler than Elvin Hines 2 fights ago when he took on Carl Williams. Now, for some reason, Carl Williams did not grapple the first 2 rounds, but he did in the third, and it still, Jonata's takedown defense still held up late. After him being fatigued, a much better wrestler could not take him down. So, with that, I'm going to say a worse wrestler is not going to be able to take him down at all, especially one that took the fight on short notice and he's debuting. Jonata's got world-class kickboxing experience. I say first round knockout, or just moneyline it, or just a knockout. But I believe it's going to be a first round knockout, easy money for Jonata Denise. Not spending too much time on the breakdown. Let's keep it moving. Secondly, I'm going to take Brandon Royval over Josh Van. This is a quick 2-week turnaround for Josh Van. He actually just fought 2 weeks ago, and he did win. I don't remember who he fought, but he did win. And I think that the turnaround being that quick, one, and Royval preparing for another opponent, and being a much better fighter in all areas, it's going to be an easy night for Brandon Royval. It's going to be the equivalent for the fight that Ricky Simone had a couple weeks ago. This is going to be a replay of that fight. I think Brandon Royval has this fight covered everywhere. I think he's going to stay on the outside and kind of outpoint Josh. And then the caveat is that if he wants to wrestle, it's going to be an even easier night. Now, Josh isn't the guy that you can exactly just hold down. You know, he's very active once you get him down, but you can get him down. So I'm going to think that Royval actually gets 1 or 2 takedowns throughout this fight, and just the better MMA player stays on the outside. Josh is going to be at a height advantage. He's going to be at a length advantage. And I think he's just going to get out-struck on the outside, leg kicks, takedowns, just a workmanlike out-hustle him for the 15 minutes. So Brandon Royval, money line. Moving on to not debuting, but the new guy on the block, Jacoby Smith. I'm going to take him over Nico Price. Nico Price actually has a strength of schedule and a length advantage or reach advantage, but he's not dangerous anymore. Nico Price has lost all his dangerous ability. He used to be a very dangerous guy. In odd positions, he would knock you out. He'd submit you from odd positions, and he's just lost all that luster. He got knocked out by Robbie Lawler in like 35 seconds. I think he's just fighting for a paycheck at this point. He has a lot of kids to feed. And he's washed. I think that this is Jacoby Smith's fight. Either way it goes, it's negative 1,600 to bet on Jacoby Smith at the filming of this video. So you are going to have to find some better odds on this fight if you want to make any money on it. Maybe the round prop if he gets to finish in the first or second, if he ends up having to wrestle and he wins a decision. But I really feel that Jacoby Smith wins this fight. It's just how. If he gets in trouble for some reason, then he just wrestles him for 15 minutes. But I'm leaning towards a knockout in the first 6 or 7 minutes of this fight. I think that he's going to get a bead on Nico Price and he starches him in the first 6 or 7 minutes. So it was like the first round, beginning of the second round. I think he's going to starch him pretty quick, but not going to spend too much time on this fight. Next, I'm going to take Alexandre Pantoja over Kai France. Pantoja has the superior grappling advantage in this fight. He has the strength of schedule advantage in this fight. He holds a win over Kai France from the Ultimate Fighter. So I believe he has this fight covered on all areas. Also, Kai France is actually 1-2 in his last 3 fights. I don't know how he even secured this fight. If anything, this is the fight that should have happened before he took on Kai Asakura, the guy that came over from Risen and won. I feel like this fight should have happened before then, as you're just basically giving him a rematch of the Ultimate Fighter, and then you stepped up another guy from another company before the rematch happened. Just doesn't make any sense. Kai France's fight should have been first, and then Kai Asakura should be coming over now. That makes more sense than it happening the way that it did. But this is neither here nor there. I think this is easy money for Alexandre Pantoja. Superior grappling. Over the last 4 years, Pantoja has beaten five of the guys that are the top 10. He's beat 5 of them. If you want to count his first victory over Kai, and Kai being in the top 10 now, he's actually beat 6 of them. So this technically would be his 7th time. Well, technically his 8th time, because he beat Moreno twice too. So this would be his 8th time defeating a guy in the top 10. So the 8th time defeating a top 10 fighter in the world. So he's almost cleared out the top 10 in the world, if you want to count 2 reach matches, because those guys were higher than top 5. So, I mean, I think he just easily runs through Kai France. Just a replay of their first fight. If not, he submits him even easier this time. I don't feel like Kai France has closed this gap at all. I expect his takedown defense to be a little bit better, but Pantoja's takedowns have gotten better over the years. So I feel like it's going to be very easy money for Alexandre Pantoja. And still, moving on down the line, I'm going to take Charles Du Bronx Oliveira over Ilya the El Matador Topuria and New. I don't believe in Ilya Topuria. A lot of people do. Not in this fight, I don't. I think he's jumping up in weight to take on a legend, and Charles is going to be taller. He's going to be longer. He has a huge strength of schedule advantage. And I don't think that he can be hurt by a guy that's shorter than him. The guys that hurt Charles are guys that are either as big as him or slightly bigger. You remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but if you're a fan, he fought Paul Felder. Paul, the Dragon Felder, put him out. Paul had I believe an inch height advantage and maybe an inch and a half reach advantage. And that's the last time that Oliveira has gotten chinned. And that's back in like 2017. I don't think that Topuria is going to get to him. I don't think he's going to get to him at all. I think Oliveira is going to keep him on the outside. And if he does come to the inside, Charles is going to wrestle or grapple. And no matter how good Topuria thinks he is, there's no way he's going to win on the ground with Charles Oliveira. I'm going to say that Charles will sub him if they end up on the ground, but I feel like Charles actually stays on the outside and snipes him from the outside and wins a 25-minute stand-up or kickboxing match, pretty much. I don't think that Topuria gets to the inside to even to put any damage on Charles in this fight. I feel like this is a fight that's kind of built for Charles to win. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's my pick. Stay sharp, play smart, bet on charm, and win with style. I am the Handsome Gambler, and I'm cashing out, people. See you next week.
It's the greatest team of all time. That squad right there.